Alright, I'm back up on my bullshit, but this time we're gonna do a little bit more of a serious video, which is the topic of we need less single parent households. Or more or less, for me, in my experience, less fatherless households, especially amongst those of young men. And I can tell you this as a person that grew up in a fatherless household, where I didn't grow up with, my pops being there all the time. My pops did some dumb shit. He did a lot of stupid shit. Nowadays, him and I, we talk, and I love the dude like a motherfucker. Like, he's one of my biggest supporters, one of my biggest motivators. Now, we've had a chance to actually have a conversation and talk about everything that happened, and he owned up to his mistakes, and we were able to move past all that shit. And I'm happy that I was able to do that, and I'm happy that he was able to, to come to me, his son, and say, hey, I fucked up during my time, but the one thing that he could say is that he never didn't care for me or didn't try or didn't love me or anything like that. You know what I mean? He never intentfully left. And I know, because I know that the court systems are all kinds of fucked up, child support, alimony, all kinds of bullshit. It's just really fucking bad, and unfortunately, even with my dad doing the dumb shit that he did, the law was still against him, and possibly even to this day, I don't talk or know about his private wares with any of that shit, so I don't fucking talk about it. But me having that absence was definitely not helpful to my mental growth as a man. I know that there's a lot of kids my age and younger, some still even older than me, and they've never had a father figure at the very least for them to be able to compare themselves, or not even compare themselves, but to be able to see some manly traits that can help them in their journey. And the funny thing about it is that a lot of guys will mention this and they'll struggle like a motherfucker. And what they'll do is, if let's say there's women around or something like that, what will happen is they will often just deal with it. They'll just be like, you know what? I'm a man. I could fucking just take this shit. Fuck it, whatever. Because they feel like that's what they have to do. And that's not the fucking case. You don't have to do any of that shit. There's a big stigma around, protecting your masculinity nowadays, where they call it toxic masculinity, which is fucking retarded, in my opinion. You should be able to be a man, biologically, be able to show some redeeming qualities of yourself, that maybe it's an aggressive quality, but it's something that is necessary for the protection of me as a man. I do not think that anyone should ever downplay anyone's manhood. It is absolutely, like, there is zero tolerance, at least for me, to disrespect my manhood. Zero tolerance. You could say it's fragile ego, whatever. Fuck. No. That's me setting a boundary, because other people don't know what I had to go through in order to get to the point that I'm at right now. And it took years of fucking growth, a lot of failures, a lot of fucking, a lot of tears, a lot of everything in order for me to get to the point where I am today. And so I would be goddamned if someone ever tells me what a real man is, what a man should be, or any of that shit. Because I know what it has taken, and I know the toll that it has taken on my mind throughout the journey of trying to figure out these things and go through it without having a father figure or somebody to actually look up to. And this is the problem nowadays with a lot of fucking kids, where they have these fatherless homes, and so they need a male mentor or something like that, but the problem is they don't know anyone. And so oftentimes these kids will start looking to the streets for men that are, that can guide them somewhere. Now the thing about it is that because they don't know what kind of guidance to look for, they'll look for anything as long as it's a male, and they will just say, you know what, I'll take you under my wing. Because they just want to know what it's like to be a man. Because what happens is, these kids, they'll see that these guys are older than them. Like, probably, 20, 30 years older than them. He's like, oh, you made it in these streets. How did you do it for that long? And so they'll follow that, not realizing this is a very fucking dangerous path to go down. And, we need more households with their dads in them. Listen, if you and if you're a woman, you and your man or whatever the fuck, the baby daddy had your issues. If it's not enough to where it's threatening to the child, if it's nothing that's threatening to the child, I wouldn't say not enough. If it's non-threatening to the child, he's a non-threat to the child, let that man be in that fucking child's life. Don't take him away from that. Because, especially as a man, we need that shit. We need somebody that can, when we need the fucking time of day, when we're having an issue, that we know, hey, maybe if we go to a fucking girl about this or whatever the fuck, or we go to our mom or whoever the fuck, we're gonna be judged or we're not gonna get the proper fucking advice. And you gotta understand, the dynamic between a mother and a son, and then there's a dynamic with the father and the son. And the father and the son bond is that much fucking stronger. Where the misconception is, oh, well, they came from the woman, so blah, 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 they're tied. No, that's not how that works. Because once they grow up, usually your kids are fucking rebellious because, well, you were teaching them the wrong things and everything that was a lie. But a lot of guys will tell dudes the truth because we know that the truth fucking hurts, but we know that it's something that calluses us. It's something that we build a resistance to after a while. Once we realize, you know what? I understand how this game works. We usually just sit back and chill. Now we're like, oh, okay, I get it. Basically, it's a thing of you don't have to look for a fucking unicorn anymore. Sorry if you're my dogs or fucking whatever. But it's a thing of not looking for a unicorn anymore. And it's a beautiful thing once you realize the unicorn never existed. You know what I mean? So you could, for guys that have these, they have girl problems or whatever the fuck like that, for me, I was having a ton of that. And I've grown from that, obviously. But now, I'm looking at it as I have stability in my job. I have now, access to a lot of tools that I never did before. And I can make something more of myself now. And, one of my closest father figures I could say is my brother's history teacher. And this man is knowledgeable as fuck. And I try to pick his brain as much as possible. I love you, Mike. I know you're going to fucking watch this, so, yeah. But, yeah, it's just, we need father figures at the very least, but for the fucking love of God, can we stop creating more fatherless homes? Because it's really taking a detriment on a lot of people's, their mental health. And, later in life, even when you do connect with this person, you always have the question of, if they were in my life earlier on, I wonder how they would have shaped me to who I am now, if it would have been that much different. Now, me, I never, people ask me, if you could talk to yourself like 10 years ago, what would you say? I'd just say, keep doing what you're doing. Because it did get me to this point, to be able to learn the shit that I did. And for me to actually have the knowledge that I do at such a young age, I feel like this honestly shouldn't even be a thing of me feeling like I accomplished anything. It should be a staple in men. But it's really not. And that's an unfortunate thing because we don't have too many fathers or father figures or, we're lacking guidance. And so we're looking for that. And, usually a lot of women, they have that support that support system. Whether it be their family, whether it be friends or guys that fucking probably want to smash that are just a fucking round. A lot of fucking guys do that shit. But women have usually, generally always had the platform to be able to speak about these kind of fucking things. And I feel like now, especially with everyone, having time to reflect with themselves during the coronavirus and stuff like that, we're starting to realize bigger problems within ourselves that we know that we need to fix. Which is a beautiful fucking thing. And funny enough, the coronavirus thing, granted my father doesn't live too far from me, but the whole coronavirus thing actually brought me and my dad closer. And I actually talked to a friend of mine, and he's in kind of the same predicament where he grew up in a single-parent household, eventually was talking to his father and started understanding a lot of the fucking shit that he was saying, and, being able to relate to the things that's going on that his father was, like, explaining. He's like, yeah, now I can totally see exactly what you mean. And so, yeah, it's just ridiculous. We don't need more fatherless homes. We need both parents to be on the same page. Because you're going to create a generation of broken people. Especially a generation of broken men. And when you destroy a boy, he'll never become a man. You need a father figure in your life as a man.